You're going to lay off Samir and Michael.
Standard operating procedure.
Do they know this yet?
No, of course not. We find it's always better to fire people on a Friday.
If you know you have to end a business partnership with someone, what responsibility do you bear to treat them right as you show them the door? Maybe they're not pulling their weight, maybe their behavior is too unpredictable, maybe you just straight up don't like them. Is the onus on you to be fair and to give plenty of warning before you kick them to the curb? Or is it better to just rip the band-aid off, so to speak?
You're fired.
In 1983, a young Metallica was finally getting traction. They had just signed their first record deal and were now touring across the country. But between bandmates, things weren't as peachy. There was a growing dynamic where three members were starting to be more resentful and frustrated with the fourth, guitarist Dave Mustaine. Real-life decisions had to be made, but this was no business deal. Throw in immaturity, compulsiveness, rock and roll, and alcohol, lots of alcohol, maybe things could have been handled better. Regardless, the resulting actions would go on to have a huge impact on the lives of all four members and on metal music as a whole.
All right!
Is there any last words you want to say to everybody out there?
Metal up your ass!
Okay, thank you. This is Donna Davis, and this is Metallica.
For a band nicknamed Alcoholica, it wasn't how much Dave Mustaine drank, but how he acted once drunk. James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, and Cliff Burton all loved to party, but were never as angry or violent as how Dave would get under the influence. In 1983, Metallica was driving across the country to record their first album, what would eventually be titled Kill 'Em All. After a long drive from California, they were playing a show at the L'Amour Club in Brooklyn one night. The show went off without a hitch, and as usual, they partied well into the night to celebrate. What Dave didn't realize was that the three other members had been hatching a plan, and their minds had been made up. Enough was enough, as Dave's actions as he drank were getting to be too much. They couldn't put up with him any longer.
He just went like totally psycho on some people in this restaurant and almost caused this big fight.
We started to see that he was on the road to killing possibly all of us.
There's two kinds of drunks. There's happy drunks and there's violent drunks. And I would get violent.
Whether it's your kids, nieces or nephews, or even your grandparents, we all have family members we worry might get scammed on the internet. To make sure everyone is safe browsing the web, you're going to want to use today's video sponsor, NordVPN. Check out nordvpn.com/loudwire or click the link in the description where you can get a 2-year plan at a huge discount right now, plus 4 additional months. NordVPN's threat protection feature protects you and your family from malicious sites, downloads, trackers, and intrusive ads. Grandma might be planning the next trip with the grandkids, booking reservations, and buying tickets and all sorts of flashy websites she hasn't seen before. With NordVPN, I know she's safe if she accidentally clicks on the link to claim her free cruise ship excursion. It's extremely easy to use, plus you can spread the wealth across the whole family with up to 6 devices. To make sure you get the discounted 2-year plan plus 4 additional months free, be sure to use the link in the description below or go to nordvpn.com/loudwire. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. On the morning of April 10th, 1983, a hungover Dave Mustaine awoke to find Lars, James, and Cliff in his room. They were there to inform him that he had been kicked out of the band. Needless to say, Dave was shocked.
All I remember was waking up and then being circled around me, and I just looked up.
Wake up, Dave, you know.
Get up, you're out of the band. And I said, what, no warning, no second chance?
After the initial surprise wore off, Dave asked when his flight would be leaving back home to California. He was told he wouldn't be flying.
The famous line, Dave, you're out of the band. When's my plane leave?
Well, you're spending the next 4 days on a Greyhound bus that leaves in 45 minutes, so pack your together and let's go to the bus station before you even know what hit you. And that was that.
Dave would spend the next 4 days on a bus bound for Los Angeles, seething in anger over his expulsion. But he was also sad. Not only was Mustaine kicked out of the band he co-founded, not only was he shamelessly sent back home on a bus, but he knew that some of his material would be played by another guitarist. Dave had one request to the other guys of Metallica before leaving on the bus that day, and that was for them not to record any of the songs Dave had written.
The thing that bothered me the most was I had all my music and I left it behind and I said, don't use my music, and of course they did. They used it on the first record, on the second record, there's parts of my music on a song on the third record. All the solos on the first record are mine, except that they're just performed by Kirk.
Exodus guitarist Kirk Hammett had actually auditioned by phone to replace Dave 10 days earlier and got the part.
The first song we played was Seek and Destroy, and Kirk pulled off this solo. It was like, things are gonna be all right, man.
And we went to the studio and recorded Kill 'Em All. From then on, I thought, well, I guess I'm in the band.
As Dave stewed in his anger and sadness on that long bus ride home, he knew his time in music would not be over. He was determined to not let this breakup define him, and so he began writing. All he had for paper was the receipt of the bus ticket and a pamphlet he had found at the Greyhound bus terminal. In the pamphlet was a quote from California Senator Alan Cranston. He was talking about nuclear weapons, and on that pamphlet it read, "The arsenal of Megadeth can't be rid." Maybe things would work out all right for Dave after all.